talk about the comic book now.
1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts. That is the name of my store. It's also the amount of electricity needed for time travel. And that's how you're going to feel when you step into my store. You're going to feel like you step back into 1985. My store is all about the comics, toys, and nostalgia. If you have that nostalgia itch that needs to be scratched, come to my store. It's on 601 North Main Street, Borger, Texas. Again, I am 1.21 gigawatts, comics, toys, and nostalgia. The greatest toy and comic shop in a 50-mile radius in the great panhandle of this great state of Texas.
1.21.
There you go. That's your store.
Yeah, man. So this is what I got on the Kickstarter. I didn't. I backed one of the lower tiers, to be honest with you, but I just wanted to get the book so I could read it and support my friends, you know. And this is really good. This is a really good print that I got. I really like this artwork. I really like that she's on the at the London Eye. It looks like, is that correct? At the London Eye,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's the London Eye.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful artwork. I love the design of her suit, you know, and all that stuff. It's really good. This is really good artwork. So, and then the Kickstarter I backed, I don't know which tier it was. It came with.
Did you laminate it? It looks like you laminated it.
I put it in a protector.
Oh, right.
Protector, yeah. So
Awesome.
that it would stay nice and straight. It also came with these cards here, which
Look at that.
pretty cool. They come. I like these because they're like little file cards. Gives me a little bio on the back.
Yeah.
So it's really, I like that. That was really cool. And you know, the other thing I really like that your comics came with a protective cover. Oh, this is beautiful. You know, for the comic book collectors that are out there, you know, this is a great thing to do. I immediately put it in my a protective sleeve and whatnot. And I read one. I took the cover off of one of them. Read this one.
That is a spot foil. Look at the beauty of that.
Oh, it is absolutely beautiful. It's a great.
Well, I'm seeing it in more detail today because, like the other day, when we were putting it out there, when we did a live stream of it with Hawk, and you were showing it, his camera and his lighting wasn't that clear as yours is now, so I can actually see in great detail what it looks like. So this is awesome, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I read the comic book today. I read it once.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think the artwork in there was really good. Was good. You know, the only thing that it felt a little more. It didn't feel comic book artish. It felt more like Saturday morning cartoon artwork kind of like thing. Not quite as much detail as I would normally like to get, but it was enough to make it work. The story so far, it was good. I had a little problem with some of the flow of the word flow where the word bubbles were, but in some of those cases, I think you were trying to convey a little bit of confusion. So trying to read it, and you know, there's a natural flow to comic book reading, and I kind of missed it on some of the panels. And there is I did notice I don't know if you meant it, but it looked like a little bit of a typo on one of the panels. And it was when the general was talking to the to the other soldier, and he was saluting him, and you know, and the way you had it pointed was, I think you meant for the general to say both lines, but you had the general saying one line and the other guy saying the line as well, where I didn't think it made sense that he was saying anything. He was being dismissed, you know. But that's just,
I think it was. I think there was a subordinate, wasn't there?
Yeah. So when he's being dismissed, he, you know, the general doesn't want anything else, you know, usually doesn't want any other information from him. You know, he's like, I got enough, you're out. But that's just little things, and I'm not, you know, not a big deal about that. I think the world building is pretty cool. I read the intro at the beginning, where you have 3 different planets that are developing these super beings. the word that you say that you have written in there, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like a Superman or Superman type.
Yeah, it's actually because this whole where it all starts is Romania. So it's Romanian for Superman.
Okay.
You know, so it's Superman. That's the
Super.
way I pronounce it. I'm sure the Romanians actually pronounce it in their own language in a different way, right?
Yeah.
And but like, yeah, that's what so I pronounce it Superman, and because it's based in the whole, you know, without giving too much away, it's Romanian based.
Yeah.
Because it's,
Yeah, and as far as the world building, I thought that was pretty good. I like it that it's in our time. You know, it's like a couple years in the future, but not so far in the future where it's where it's not familiar. I like that it's familiar. And then I'm sorry, the character development, well done. I think the character development was very well done in there.
cool.
That's just enough to understand what's going on with the characters and understand where they're at in this world.
Yeah.
But not enough for us to be overexposed, you know, where you're leaving enough for us to like want to see the next issue. I enjoy that. That was pretty cool. I like that you have different aspects that you've already established villains and superheroes, and you have people that are, we don't know who they are yet, that are being established, and it's always fun to have that kind of mystery going into the second issue. And then the overall production of the book, oh my goodness, fantastic. You know me, I worked for a comic book publisher, and I'm big on quality comic books, because you spend a lot of money on comic books nowadays to get them.
Exactly.
And
you don't want to get something like that doesn't live up to your dollar value. You know, I think that's most important to me. It's like if you're going to pay a certain amount of money, you expect a certain amount of money value back.
Yeah, and I tell you, it was refreshing. I'll be frank with you. I was a little scared that I was going to get some really like subpar comic book, you know, that really flimsy type of a book, you know, and I'm like, but I want to support my friends. You know, that's the most important thing, is you got to support your friends. And when I got it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. These books are really high quality, done very well. I mean, you know, I'm just over the moon about how well they're done, you know, just to give you an idea. And the idea that the people that printed them put the covers over top of them to maintain the cover, the covers of the comic books. I really enjoyed that, and I also love,
right. They get scratched, they get like when they're handling and stuff. And this is the difference between Kickstarter and I think just your stores, because they stores, they already, they're not really looking to protect the book, because I mean, and I don't mean the stores, I mean the mass manufacturing, right? You got hundreds of thousands of books, so there's no point in like, oh, they get treated like they're just another piece of paper. Whereas for us as Kickstarter, because we value, because unlike me, I'm like, as soon as I get a comic, it goes into a sleeve because I value that comic book, because not on, even my friend's comic book, right? When he, his one goes into a sleeve as well, because I value his comic book and his creation. And I think that's the difference we need to bring back when it comes to the whole the art side of things, right? To value the art and the creativity that comes with comics, because there's someone there that's taking hours and hours and hours to create this, and then you're just going to treat it like that. And I hate it when people like, I mean, I know some people don't like me touching with my fingers, and that's like extreme, right? But the people that just basically twist the paper, I'm like, don't, I get on, this is art. You wouldn't do this to a fine art or painting. If you're going to like treat it with kitty gloves with a fine art, why can't you treat comic books the same way?
That's true. It is an art form. Comic books are an art form, and people don't understand, that there is value to these things, to these comic books. And the other thing is they've I think in some point, it's, in some cases, comic books literature in general are more important or more artistic than ancient paintings and things like that in some cases,
Yeah.
because it's something that is bringing contributing to the world or to the country, or making a statement, making some sort of having some sort of a voice that you can actually hear.
Yeah.
X-Men was a allegory for the civil rights movement, things like that. I mean, it's super important. It was very easy to look at. But as far as your book, as far as the comic book, man, I would give it a solid, I'll give it a solid B on that. I mean, it's above average. It's obviously not the greatest book I've ever read in my life, but I'm very proud to know the writer and have a friend that is writing the book. And it's good. It's good. It's worth getting. It's worth trying to, get all of the issues to. So, if I can do it, I'm going to probably support the next Kickstarter to make sure I get issue number 2, so it was a nice book, and not overly sexualized, which I love.
Well, it was an all ages book, so I didn't want to go that way, and because it had to be for all ages, had to be for young kids, get them into reading, and so that because the A cover is going to be on the store, right? So for everybody to read, and so that way that like anybody could read it, and doesn't matter if your kid's reading it or if you're going to give it to somebody as a gift.
Right.
And so, however, with the Plunge Studios Kickstarter page, we're doing the mature comics on that page. With the Rising Sun comics, this comes on the Rising Sun as an all ages comic book. So if you're reading that, that there's nothing out, untoward to, something like, like you said, sexualized or anything like that. This is just a good, wholesome book to read, about a young superhero girl, right? And her connections to things, and from New Zealand, and you get to see a bit of New Zealand. You get to hear, how we run things, but also, just having a grounded, I guess, book that you can give to anybody to read, and that's what I wanted, because it was written for my little niece when she was 7 years old. So it was, it was like a gift to her for giving her own superhero. And so I thought, well, it'll be great to write something that's just totally wholesome and clean. Oh, yeah. And then go over and do something that's, a bit more mature for other mature readers. We've got a book coming out, Robot Nation, next month or so on Kickstarter, which is a self-contained 44 pages, horror, sci-fi book. And that's like, I wouldn't give that to a kid to read. Right. It's 15 plus, I would say, but later on it becomes a bit more 16, 18, because, but this is, Incredi-Girl is definitely for all ages. And this is one of the earlier, one of the B covers that we did, one of my friends did for it. And so, we changed the artwork from the cover and stuff. You can see it's like a blue. Now it's like, blue as well, but, it's blue, white, and red. So the covers, the artwork for this is a webcomic one. But the one you got, can you open up the inside of it so we can show people?
So I got the other one that has the cover on it still.
Is it the full foil?
Yeah, I believe so.
Look at that. Oh, that's the black one. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, it is the full foil.
Yeah, it is foil. It's foil. But just so you so you can see it, to take this cover off, it's super simple. And it's scary. When I did the other,
leave it on. You don't have to take the cover off. I mean, you want to protect your comic, right?
I'm going to. I'm going to put it back in the sleeve.
Okay.
It's super simple. It just comes right off.
Yeah. Oh, look at the foil on the back. That's what I love about that one. That's got with the full foil. That's got the logo on the back and foil as well.
Oh yeah. So I'll open it up just a little bit. It's going to open up to the middle of the book.
Yeah.
So look at that.
Yeah, that's the one when we had we had backers basically who wanted to be in the comic. So you got two people who wanted to be in the comic, and so you had that tier, and so you had one guy who also backed the spoken word tier. And so after we were on Kickstarter, we redrew the comic book after it had already been drawn with those two people in it. And so I hope they loved it. Oh, look at that.
Looks good.
This is the first time I'm seeing it because mine's on the way. But yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
Hugo and Kevin did amazing art. You know, Hugo did the coloring and Hugo Queno and Kevin Zimmerman did the artwork. So yeah.
Those, you know, we had the.
This is one I'm using a lot. Those two panels on the left side, because I love those three. Because with them in it, like, see, you were talking like the, you know, Nano, Incredi-Girl, and then also the captain there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, so just so you see what I was talking about, the general was talking to the captain. Or was it right here on this panel, like right here. You know, you have him saying something to him, and it just doesn't. To me, it doesn't make sense. But it, you know, it's your choice. It's there may be something there. I just didn't know. But that was the only confusing part on once I figured out the flow of how to read it, and then like but I loved it, man. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a good book, man. I was very happy. You know, I love all this stuff in the back too. To see all the stuff in the back, I'm not gonna do the last page because I don't want people to be giving away.
We don't want to spoil it for everybody.
All of the other extra stuff in the back.
The Kickstarter people, backers and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then the just the paint by colors picture here. That's pretty neat, you know. And then all of the other covers that you're able to get right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Yeah.
Hey, did I blank out the cover for the wraparound as well?
What's that now?
Did I blank out the cover, like in that one? Did I blank out the cover of the character on the back of the wraparound?
I don't think so. No, I don't know. What you're...
Because that's the secret cover. I mean, secret character we don't show. But man, I love that, man. I can't wait to get my copy because just look. Yeah, that has to be one of my favorite covers because of the red and white and black foil on the back is just gorgeous. So you get value for money, right? As well, as a collector, I think that's just amazing.
Oh, it's a good.
I mean, for me, when I look at it, I go, if I was collecting that book, I would want that.
Oh yeah,
you know?
And yeah. So there's both of my books from Kickstarter.
Yeah, so that's the two versions that you got: the foil, variant foil, spot foil, and variant full cover, full foil, wraparound foil.
So I guess I got the black and white, and the poster, and then the 4 cards as well. So yeah, the poster is really cool. That's going to go up in the shop.
James, man, James is one of my James is my go-to guy for cover art. He's done so many cover arts for us, and he's got his own comic book that he's working on, which is mature, which I would say like this R17, R18 book, which comes under Plunge Studios book, right? So that goes under this. You know, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, this is the page. This is a link to the mature comic book site that we're putting out for Kickstarter. This is the Plunge NZ page on Kickstarter. That's where you get all the mature comics. This one comes under the Rising Sun page, which is run by Hawk Sanders, who's the CEO for Rising Sun. So we try to keep it divide between all ages and mature. And so yeah, this one's I love that, man. I thought he was gonna the printing was gonna be just a flimsy little poster, but he went next level up and we printed out this cardstock.
Yeah, it's a card. It's a little bit more than just card paper. I mean, it's thick. It's about as thick as the playing cards.
Right.
So, yeah, they're really nice. And the art to me, James Hill, is that correct? That's
James Hill. He's amazing, man.
James Hill and Hugo Queno. Yeah.
And then I also did the flats on it, so I could make sure that like I had the colors the way I wanted it, and then I had Hugo go and finish it off. And he's an amazing artist.
This reminds me of Mike Deodato's artwork from the early 2000s when he was doing a lot of the Marvel stuff back in the day. This reminds me of that. And the way she looks like a young what's her name? Nicole Kidman.
Right.
She looks like a young Nicole Kidman in there if you look at it.
Yeah.
That head. I mean, just she has her face. So there's some light. I can see that there's a story there, inside this artwork. You know what I mean? So that's
I mean, it's that final costume. Like it's taken me about since 2007 is when I wrote it. Right when I started writing, Christmas 2007, and then 2010 I think was when I got an artist to start working on it, and then in 2019 or 18 is when I came back to it and we started work on the web comic, and then around about 2022 21 is when I went 22 I put the web comic out, right, which is this one here, and based on that 2019 2010 art and stuff, and I was like, we printed it out with the B cover that we put out for B cover for this one, because I love his work and Seven's work, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not happy. I don't think this will, like, it's I did it, but like I'm not happy to have this on a shelf and be able to compete with anybody else. And I was like, if I want to I want to have my comic, if I want to have people at least have enough enough say, oh, this is value to me as a comic book, like we were talking about earlier on, is it value to me to pick up? And I was thinking, no, it's not, because then I said, I was like, I got some critique back, and I went back and rewrote the entire thing from scratch, rewrite it, got another artist, redid the artwork, got a colorist, colored the whole entire thing, and which basically meant a whole new cost to everything, a whole new time, a lot of time spent redoing everything, getting other and getting friends to do covers for it. James Hill, as you saw the poster there, it's taking what people are saying and redoing it and making it more competitive to people to back it. And I think people, like you said, it's not A level, but it is B plus, because it's my first comic out in full color and rewritten for mass market, right, production, so that I can feel comfortable to have it right next to any comic on a bookshelf, right, and people can go past it, what is this, and look inside and go, oh wow, this is pretty cool color, artwork, colors great, what is the story about? And and you feel like compelled to pick it up, because I've been through past things where, yeah, this is not the same as a cover on the front, right? So like a cover has got the same art that is inside, and and I think that's what's like, I think I want comics to be as valuable as they used to be to me. And that's why I went back and read the entire thing. So you don't get black and white art that's like just all over the place, because this was done for web comics, so you could read a page a week. But this is it's valuable.
Well, let's look at an old comic book real quick, right? So your artwork, the artwork that's on here, man, there's a story going on here. There's something going on. We know that she's in London for something, right? And she ain't gonna put up with anything. And she's ready to rock and roll, right? So that tells a story in that just little page, and that's very important. And this one as well tells a huge story without saying a lot,
right?
And that is so important. If you see them on the shelf, I can see both of these. So I'm trying to get them.
Let me just pop it. Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. I can see these living right next to each other. So I think you did a great job. All your guys that put the hard work in there did a great job. Did a fantastic job. So I'm very, 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 very excited for you guys. Really am. And so I mean, it gives that old school feel that we've been missing. So very proud of you. Good for you, man.